Hey guys, you ready to go in your new house? It's not quite done yet. Can you go check it out? Well, good morning guys, another fine day at the off-grid. Today we're building, well, we're gonna start finishing this thing. This is a project that, well, I wasn't really gonna show, but then it turned into a thing. And by this thing, what it is actually, it's a chicken coop. My wife requested that I build her a little she shed slash chicken coop slash tinker shed. So anyways, this is what we're building. This is we're kind of midway through the build. I didn't really start to show you the beginning of this thing, but this thing is going to be essentially a mini barn, but it's also going to be insulated, and it's going to be warm and comfortable and bright. See if we can get it finished and functional. Like, the idea behind this thing is it is indeed a barn, and it's not supposed to be like, you know, the Taj Mahal or anything. But then it turned out it had like a clustery roof. I call it the cholesterol roof, which has got like a roof that goes up like this and a roof that goes like this, and it captures the most amount of sun, so it keeps it nice and bright and nice and warm in the wintertime, because ideally the chickens have a really nice place to roost. A lot of these projects actually take a lot of material, so reason why they take so long is because I slowly accumulate material over time. And once I have enough material, I start building. So I think I had enough building material, but turns out I didn't have enough vapor barrier. So like I got some vapor barrier, some part rolls vapor barrier, part rolls of tar paper. Just to give you an idea, some of the reused stuff I've already reused on this build is this is an old French door, patio door. It's actually short. That's why it's, anyways, it didn't have hinges or doorknobs, which is perfect. I can make my own doorknobs. If you look at the bottom here, this is reclaimed pallet wood, which has the, which is just like 3/8 or 5/8 plywood. It's really thick. It's actually the top pieces of skids. This material that is here, this is reclaimed barn wood. So this is truss wood that was de-nailed and reused. These are old windows that I've cut down to size, kind of similar to the Taj Mahal. It's still got the ventilation tubes on it, so I'm going to plug there. The top roof section of the shed is reclaimed garage door panels. So I got like an R20 in the ceiling already. I don't have to do anything with that. I'm just going to air seal it. And up there we've got some windows I actually got from Habitat for Humanity in Maine. I brought those all the way back, and they kind of match the profile. I wanted to have some sort of like a skinny window, and I didn't have any skinny windows, so those ones from Maine actually worked well. They still got some of the old hardware on there, and they got to have a little bit of work to them, but the idea is to actually have those open up so they vent in the summertime, so it kind of keeps it nice and cool in here as well as nice and warm. And then I had some insulation laying around. It happened to be really, really wet, so it's been sitting in the sun for a while to dry out, but now it's dry, so I can insulate this thing, put the vapor barrier up, and then start working on the inside finishes. Now, the plan with the outside of this guy is to actually make it completely solar, so it's going to have solar panels on that really large overhang at the front. Should give me a nice big spot, and I'm going to have it in the sunny side of the property. And what that is going to allow me to do is to actually have it kind of like a charging solar station where I can charge other packs off of the pack that's going to be in here. So it's going to collect all the sun during the day, and then I can just plug in any pack to it and charge it up and go into the deep dark forest where I like it. I don't want to cut down any live trees because I like shade. I enjoy the shade, although it's really hard to charge solar things in the shade. I find it important whenever I insulate is always to kind of take your time. You don't want to break a sweat because the insulation tends to stick to you. So I always kind of go slow and methodical. I want to make sure my insulation isn't packed down. It's got to be fluffy, and in its space, it's got to work its way all the way to the back and fill the cavity to its maximum potential without actually squashing your insulation, because the airspace is what you want. Okay, so I got the insulation pretty much, well, until I ran out, and then what I did was I actually cut some more garage door panels, and I used them on the gable ends up there. I need some more insulation up on this side of the south-facing wall, and sealing these guys up. So once I have all my panels in place, I'm going to actually spray foam that gap. I actually cut them a little short in order to accommodate the insulation, because again, I'm focusing on air sealing and insulation, kind of best of both worlds. Yeah, because if you ever watched a bricklayer, they can heat up a plastic bag it doesn't retain the heat, but it does heat it. But you cannot heat up open space. You need to have the air sealing going on. So we're just going to work on that and ensure that all the airspace. So in the ends, there's going to be insulation there. And if you're thinking there's no ventilation in here, well, you know what? It doesn't need to have ventilation because, well, those windows open up. So during the warm winter months, I'll just open those up and have all of my heat escape that way. And fun fact is the old houses used to have really tall ceilings because all the hot air would hang up in the top, and they would have very comfortable temperature down below. And another thing they had in old houses is the transoms above the doors, which would allow the heat to escape out above the door without actually having the door open. So that was another thing they were thinking of way back then before the advent of air conditioning, is they had the transoms above the windows in order to kind of get that hot air up and out. I'm sure there's other reasons for that. Probably let some light in too, but comfortable hot summer heats and, mid-Texas where it's really hot, you want that air to go out and in, kind of constant airflow, draft, keep yourself cool. I told you it wasn't ready yet. What are you doing in there? Hey? You just checking it out? What do you think? Well, this is over here. You guys are walking towards your coop. And this area over here, this is where your coop's going to be. Yeah? What do you think? It's pretty, huh? I agree. You guys can't be in here yet, though. It's cool tool time because, well, this is a pretty cool tool. This is, well, I got it upside down. This is a gun foam dispenser, which allows you to take canned foam. So this is usually what you see is, the little lid, the plastic lid with the little plastic straw that just fell on the ground. And usually you're fighting with it to hold it upside down and get the foam dispensed. But this thing has dual action foam for Royal LePage, I believe. And it screws onto the top of this foam dispensing gun. And so what's really neat about it is it doesn't give you the old trigger finger fatigue with the plastic little nozzle, and it doesn't get jammed, and you don't have to use the can all at once because you can just stop and the tip actually shuts off the foam, so you can kind of keep it for a lot longer. It's also easier to clean. And the really cool thing about this thing is that I bought it years and years and years ago. As you can see, it's been on the shelf for a really long time because I haven't thought of using it, or I just haven't had the opportunity. But this one had the can with a screw top, so I was like, and I bought this thing for this is the Great Stuff Pro 14 foam dispensing gun. And if you look really closely there, I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, I got it for 20 bucks at some sort of store. It was brand new. It was probably old stock or something like that. And it was dirt cheap. But after using it for that whole can, I highly recommend. That thing is a very, very cool tool, especially if you have a lot of foaming to do. It is really good. The little back knob on the thing actually allows you to control the amount of foam. So you just kind of, full out, and then you just kind of dial it back with the little adjuster knob thing there, so you don't have foam everywhere. You can just foam where you want the foam in the crack, and it's really nice because you can actually get further away from your crack to foam it. It's got extra long, I don't know, is that the barrel? That's the barrel of the foam gun. And I think there's replaceable tips too if you got some weird stuff, it comes with some stuff. So check those guys out, they're pretty cool. Although I don't endorse this specific company. I'm sure there's other foam guns that are just as cool. I think foam guns in general, if you have a lot of foaming to do, get a foam gun. They're cool. Well, guys, I think I want to go on a little bit of a rant about insulation. I had to buy an extra bag of insulation, and I haven't bought an insulation since the start of that whole world shutdown and stuff. Anyways, the price of insulation in my neck of the woods has gone up from about $65 a bag to $100 a bag for one bag of insulation. And if anybody's ever bought an insulation, that's a lot of money to spend on insulation. Now, the government, yeah, that's right, that's where this is going. The government is taxing carbon here in my world, and what they've done is they've basically made it cost more to purchase things that, I guess, pollute the environment and cause global emissions and whatnot. So that's their solution to putting a kind of cap on the carbon emission. My suggestion is to incentivize the stuff that actually prevents the burning of fossil fuels in the first place. So let's start subsidizing insulation for one, because you pay once and it basically provides you with a warm or cool environment for ever, essentially. It does not degrade over time. Roxel insulation tends to just sit there on the wall and provide comfort for years to come. So if you could just imagine if, for instance, insulation was either A, free, or it was heavily incentivized by the government, as opposed to, maybe take the carbon tax you're taking for something and then buy everybody insulation. Just imagine how much insulation you'd put in your house if it was free. If I was to have to pay for insulation on this little chicken coop here, well, I did have to pay for it. I had some old insulation and some new insulation, so it would have been like $400, $500 to do insulation or more, because I actually used a bunch of reused stuff in the ceiling and the walls. So that being said, it would have been, a lot of people would have built a shed and just not put as much insulation, and would have simply just thrown carbon at it by either heating it with propane, natural gas, or oil, or whatever. Anyways, it's a lot easier to keep a place warm than it is to dump heat out the window. So to get rid of the middleman, don't have to send it a mail-in rebate. Just make it cheaper to begin with. Just be like, okay, well, we're not gonna charge a lot of money on insulation. Just right at the start, just give it away for free. Kind of like they give away a lot of stuff for free to people that need it. Like I can't even go there. They give a lot of stuff for free to other people, but give away insulation. First step at fighting climate change in your house. All right, my real-time vapor barrier tip. First, start with vapor barrier. This happens to be the 6 mil variety. And what I like to do is actually first roll it out along the wall, just like this. I roll it out, I hold the stud to just kind of measure it. You don't want to really measure it, you just kind of unroll it, unroll it, unroll it. Is there going to be enough for this wall? Hope so. Oh, I couldn't have asked for a better piece of vapor barrier. I hope that's going to fit. All right, that's exactly the size I need. Happens to be an old roll. So what I do is I take my vapor barrier and I unwrap it. And then this is the awkward part. I like to staple along the base of the wall, all the way across. So I grab a little chunk and I put it next to the bottom of the wall. This is the hard part. So you start, and then you want to keep it over top of your head like that, but you want to keep an even space along the base. And then you go along the bottom, trying to keep an even along the bottom plate. I like to leave a little gap next to the floor. And if you guys can see, you guys probably can't see, keep it nice and even. It'll make your life a lot easier later on. Okay, so now that we have that done, what we do is we start in the middle of the wall. Roughly. We start at the bottom. And what we do is we push it up the vapor barrier. And you want to staple it as you go, pushing it all the way up. And you want it a straight line all the way up. All the way. All the way up. And then you do is you work your way out from the middle, making sure you're kind of pushing it as you go. And you're pushing it, smoothing it. Tight, tight, tight. Get it right in the corner. There. That's how you do a vapor barrier, and you get yourself a nice tight vapor barrier. And then when you put your drywall, rock wall board on it, whatever, you don't have wrinkles and things and it's all crooked and whatnot. So you just got to rinse, repeat, do the other walls. What I do is I lap over the joints in the corner, run a bead of tape along the seam to make sure it's airtight. And then what I do before I finish the bottom is I actually put acoustic sealant around the plate, and that just kind of seals everything up tight like a toiga. All right, well, that tuck tape is brought to you by a little bit of OCD and well, Princess Auto, that's where I got it. I actually used up pretty much my entire stash of tuck tape. I didn't think that was possible. There's a significant amount of joints up and around those joists, rafters there, so I tucked in and around there to air seal it. I think air sealing is actually more important than insulation. It's also a lot cheaper than insulation. So if you have an old drafty house, you're better to go and spend, you know, $100 on caulking and air sealing than you are to actually spend it on insulation. But yeah, anyways, that's a tedious job done. Now we're ready for some wall paneling. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. Gonna go fart around in the bush a little bit and see what I got. I think there's an ash tree down there that I can probably mill up for some wall siding. The idea behind here is actually to keep this sort of artistic or architectural detail in place, a place for the you know, the hot airs to escape. The hot airs, there's at least 2 of them, and yeah, so they can escape out the top, and it'll be nice, cool, comfortable down here for the chickens and whatever else activities we want to do down here. This is shaping up to be pretty darn cool looking. I like the just the look of that. That's pretty neat. You can see the problem with a lot of these trees is that well, they got rot like 20 or 30 feet up, so that just got stuck in the other tree and then snapped off way up there, and it's wedged itself in that tree, which is perfect because I'll get rid of this one and then knock this one down, push it the other way. And what's really cool is the tree it's stuck in is another ash tree, so that'll come down, but there's still leaves on the top of that, so it can stay for a little longer. It hasn't rotten like this one. You can see it's starting to go, but this will work for what I need to use it for. I didn't want to damage any of these balsams that were here. You can see the side of that tree was all rotten. It's got dry rot on the outside of it. This little guy didn't make it, but all the other little balsams that I was trying to save, all good. Well, there we have it. Pretty much all of the interior cladding wood is milled out of 1 or 2 logs that I had, the ash, standing dead ash. So there we go. We got it pretty much milled up to about 5/8 of an inch thickness, and that'll be the interior cladding. So I'd much rather spend the morning milling wood than spending all week at a job trying to make money in order to buy wood. So that's the kind of thing. You have a sawmill that you can pretty much make your own stuff. And if you were to, you know, take this wood, you could probably sell it if you didn't have a project to build and pay for it itself. I had Don, he actually straightened out all the ends, and then what we can do is recut them in order to install them, because we're going to go vertical board and battened with a battened down the middle of it. So as you can see, those are what, like 13 inches wide or something like that. It's not going to take many of them to go across. All right, well, tour time. It's been the last 2-3 days. Been putting this stuff up. I figured I'd just spare you the monotony, the boredom. I'm installing this board and battened for 3 days, 2 days, 2.5 days. I'm kind of down to the short strokes. This stuff down up here has been exceptionally difficult. Getting infill between the joist cavities, it's not the easiest thing to do, but it does finish it off really nice. Those windows up there look pretty darn good. I've got to do up here, and I've got to do the battens, which are these little tiny pieces of wood here. Hello, fly. Oh, that fly was sleeping. So these little battens here all has to be done, and then we can start building the coop, which is going to be in this general area here with the coop door over there. And yeah, oh, there's more to do up there. Every time we kind of look, this fancy roof's becoming, not becoming, it's been a little bit more of work than I anticipated. This was going to be a simple coop, simple / little barn. It's yeah. It's kind of evolved into a creature of its own. They call that scope creep in the construction world. It's kind of evolved slightly to become a little bit more complicated. That's okay. It's kind of cool. I like the look of it so far. We just got to get some more battens on and kind of button up the cladding partition of it, which is the non-entertaining part of this. I think the coop build will actually be a little bit more fun. These are all the battens I milled up, and kind of resaw stuff on the sawmill whenever you can. It's 3/8 of an inch thick, so you can mill a lot of stuff in a hurry with it. You just put 3 boards that are 1.5 inches wide, and you just kind of tear through it. Battens in a hurry. If you were to buy this stuff, it's insane. You'd probably be paying like $8-9 a piece. I found some semi-transparent wood stain a while ago, and I was like, this is like almost a full can. So I ended up using that as a sealer for the plywood, and I added it pretty darn thick. It's almost like a solid stain at this point. But what I wanted to do is actually get it into the cracks of where the plywood meet in order to seal those ends, in order to kind of give it some waterproofing. Because as you all know, maybe you don't know, as a chicken coop, it tends to see a lot of mess, and if you can seal it up, it's easier to clean. So that's why I used a lot of that on such a small area, and hopefully it'll stand the test of time. And if not, it's already brown. So all right, we got it all moved into place. As it turns out, it took well, 3 days for that stain to dry. I don't know if I put it on too thick. I might have put it on too thick. Probably don't dump it on. It's still kind of drying, but looks pretty darn good if you ask me. We've got a pretty blank space for all our activities. There's lots of space in here. The idea is to have a separate chicken pen, and it'll allow them to come on in out of the cold in the wintertime, have a nice bright area to hang out in, lay their eggs, whatnot. And it's also got to be functional because it has to be easy to clean. So that's going to be the challenge today, to try to make a coop that is both functional and easy to clean. But I'm really liking the south-facing orientation. I don't know if you can tell. It's bright in here, and it's cloudy outside. So we're getting all of the south-facing. And the idea is that the morning sun will warm this bad boy up, collect all the heat over the daytime, and then slowly release it at nighttime to keep our chickens warm. There may be some like a thermal mass wall going on in the back wall here in order to retain some of that heat. But we'll cross that bridge a little bit later. We got to get the chickens in because, well, there is, well, winter's coming. Winter's always coming, so let's get started. All right, so this location over here is the ideal location for the chicken coop. So what I want to be able to do is still have access to open this window while I'm in the coop. So in the summertime, you can just kind of open the door, let the fresh air in, let it ventilate out. Gets a little bit of a tickle there, and then I want it to be not crazy big. Like, I don't want it to go all the way over here. I want just to kind of access here so I can have collect the eggs, walk behind. So it's not going to be it's not going to be really big. Like, I'm almost thinking like right here. There's only 4 chickens, and they like to be cozy. So like there, probably follow that beam, go over here, follow that batten. I think that's pretty good. There, that battened and that battened. Floor is still a little sticky. All right, let's get cutting. In order to build the laying box, I first started with a cargo container that I found at a scrapyard a while ago, and what I did was I actually took it and I cut it off to length in order to accommodate at least 3 laying boxes. And then I took the ends and cut them for dividers, bent up the edges, and then screwed them in place to complete my laying box. Now, the idea behind this laying box is that I can clean it out, and using galvanized steel, I'll be able to wipe it down in order to have myself a really nice place for my chickens to go to lay eggs. I went on a little bit of like Princess Auto run the other day, and I picked myself up some piano hinges, and I'm going to put them on the laying box in order to open it up nice and wide so I can get in there, collect the eggs, but also I can get in there and give it a clean so I don't have poopy eggs, because that's the worst, is having poopy eggs. So what I'm going to do is just attach them with a couple of screws and then screw them onto the face of those. So it should, in theory, open up nice and wide so I can get my stuff out of there. I picked a screw that hopefully doesn't go all the way through, because let's just put a couple in there from there and a couple in here. Opens up all the way. I probably have a latch to hold it up while I'm collecting my eggs, but that's pretty nice and solid. It's like 3/8 ply. This is from skidwood, the top of a skidwood pallet. So evenly spaced. All right, let's move on to probably mesh and stuff or making the access to the outside. You guys see that? It says maximum 300-pound capacity. That's a one heavy chicken. You guys may or may not have noticed I actually lowered the laying boxes to be about between 18 and 20 inches off the finished floor height. Because what you want is your laying box to be high enough so the chickens go in there to lay their eggs, but not too high, because otherwise they'll roost in them. So you want your roosts to be above the laying boxes so they don't just hang out in the laying boxes, because what happens when chickens hang out is they soil their eggs, and that's not an ideal breakfast, is to have that on your eggs. So the roosts will be higher than the laying boxes, so at nighttime they'll go up there and they will sleep up there, and they won't sleep in their laying box, because we don't want that. So that's why I've adjusted it. I cut like 18 inches off it. What I was thinking or not 18 inches, like 8 inches off of it. Because what I was thinking originally is ease of actually retrieving the eggs. I wouldn't have to bend down, but yeah. Such is life. You know what? Just modify and move on. Because this is going to be filled with about 1 foot worth of straw. And that's called like the deep bedding straw method. And it allows you to go a really long time without having to clean it out. And anytime you can avoid moving that sort of stuff around is ideally, like, it's kind of like a every 6 months sort of clean. And yeah, so they, you know, do their thing and move on. I'm really pleased the way that laying box turned out. It's my best laying box creation yet, and I've created at least a couple of them. Stuff isn't the easiest to do. It's like sharp and fiddly, and sharp and fiddly. My original plan was to do it on the outside, and well, that kind of went by way of the wayside, because the inside, I don't think the chickens care about aesthetics. I kind of do, so that's why I'm doing it on the inside, because the outside, you can't really tell how bad you perform the wire meshing, so that's why I'm doing it on the inside. Then I'm going to do it kind of like just piecemeal together. I don't have to make it perfect. You know what? I think perfect stands in the way of done a lot of the time. I think a lot of the times people start projects and they can't finish them because they ain't gonna look perfect. And the reality is, nothing's ever perfect, so might as well be done. We need to make an outside area for this little girl here. How you doing there, chicken? Well, we need to make a chicken causeway. And by causeway, I mean like a little tunnel to the outside kind of grazing section. What do you think of that? Hey, what do you think of that? Is that a good idea? Do you want to be outside? You're like, I'm already outside. Why do I need a thing? You ever notice that the chicken's head doesn't move? It's very good at stabilizing. Watch. Look at. See? What are you looking at? I'm doing the chicken. Oh, now you're like, I'm lazy. What are you doing? See? Chicken stabilization. If only I could get my camera to stabilize as well as a chicken head does. All right, so anyways, enough fooling around. We are going to, look at the chicken foot. Chicken leg. Your chicken leg. All right, so what I want to do is see if a chicken can go through this tunnel. And this is a fireproof duct for commercial applications. Yes. Do you think you can get through an 8-inch duct? Or my alternative option is to get a bigger duct, but I have an 8-inch duct. So I'm going to see if a chicken will go through the 8-inch duct by itself. So we're gonna, will you go in there? Hey, go in the duct. Uh-oh. Maybe you don't want to go in the duct. Come on. What if it's just short? Go in there? Come on. It's not scary. You want me to go in first? I won't fit. You go in the duct. Maybe we gotta make it. Are you stressed out? You're okay. I can hear you. I want to see if you're going to go through the duct. This is how you get from the coop out into the grass. You want to try? Come on. No. You got to go through the duct. How are we going to get you out of the main coop into the other coop? Got to go through the tube. Come on, through the tube. Go in there. Come on. Nope. That's not going to work. We're going to have to figure out another way to do it. It's not that hard. Look it. I don't know. We'll figure out a way to do it. In order to make my chicken coop run, I ended up taking a couple of wire spools that I had laying around, and I brought it into my shop, and I took it and I used my angle grinder without a guard, and I cut the spokes off one at a time, and I made sure my head was not in the same plane as the angle grinder, because the angle grinding wheels sometimes snap off and fly in a wild fashion. Once those were cut off, I ended up having a large circle, which I then cut in half, giving me 2 semicircle arch pieces. And then once I had those semicircle arch pieces, I welded on another 15 inches of square tubing to the base of it to create a really nice arch. Once I had that done, I had some stiffener from garage doors, which I welded on the base on both sides, and then I added 2 more kind of halfway up, and then 1 directly in the arch. Once that was done, I took a couple of pieces of steel roofing I had laying around and installed it in the roof, and that'll allow the chickens to have a place to hide in inclement weather, whether it's raining or snowing or very, very sunny. They'll have some shade. And then I took some welded wire mesh and enclosed the entirety of the coop to give them a safe from predator area to hang out and forage in the grass. what I've created is somewhat of a chicken causeway. What this is going to allow it to happen is the chickens can go from the coop and they can walk along the little bridge and get out to the chicken run without being, attacked by predators and stuff. So it's a very functional causeway. The other thing this is going to allow me to do is actually pivot the coop, or not the coop, the run from side to side in order to allow the grass to regrow so they have a nice fresh place from time to time. So that's the plan with this thing. I think it's pretty neat. Well, I was wondering, come on, go out, why I was on fire, smelling something weird. Come on. Comes with the territory, right? Eventually you light yourself on fire. In order to build the chicken run door, I ended up using a bunch of wood that I had laying around. I cut it to size, around roughly 3 feet by 3 feet, and I buttoned it all together using screws. But then I had to make sort of a sandwich in order to actually pinch my mesh together with. So I built another square and I put it around that. And then once I've done that, I actually built the door, giving myself about a 1/2 inch gap all the way around the edges in order to accommodate the swing of the door. Once that was done, I ended up taking some hinges I had, again, kicking around, and I screwed them into the thing just to see that everything was working properly. Once I had all that together, I actually brought it over to the chicken run. I loosely attached it to the face of it using screws, kind of hung it like a picture. And that's the simplest way to make a door access on mesh. So there you go, nice big opening. You can get inside the run. You need to change the water, change the food. Just need to latch on that thing and it's good to go. All right, now we're cooking with power. We got our solar battery in here, keep our chickens nice and toasty and warm. And also give me a nice place to charge other battery packs in this station because it gets full sun pretty much all day. You can see still getting full sun, which is awesome. All right, it's straw time. This is protective sheeting. It's just really heavy plastic, and the idea is to put a deep bed of straw in here, and every once in a while you basically pull the bottom out and you can just drag it all out and away it goes. Easy cleaning coop. It's pretty good. I wanted it to kind of lap up the edges a little bit, which it kind of does. It should keep anything from seeping through, but ideally the straw is going to take all of that and just kind of soak it all in like a nice big disgusting patty. Yeah. Hey guys, I got some pretty exciting news. I finally have found a place where I can get these guys made on the regular basis if you guys want one of these. These are like the coasters slash beer cozies slash tree ornament wall hanger. You can put them up on your wall. They look kind of cool. It helps support the channel. The Modern Self-Reliance laser etched cookie. This guy here was etched on the Ortur Laser Master 3, which is a really cool device for doing your own laser. If you have your own laser and you want to make yourself a cookie, this is what they look like. But there is another company that is currently making them for the channel, which is kind of cool. It's folkloreimpressions.ca. The link will be in the description down below. You can actually purchase these cookies from their store, and they also have some really neat stuff also on their store. A young couple just starting out, kind of making their own thing. I support that sort of thing, encourage that all the way. And if you don't have your own laser, you can get them from them. But these guys, I made a sign here. This is actually printed on the laser Ortur Master 3. I have the laser, so I do from time to time engrave on wood. It's a really cool thing to do. It's awesome because you never run out of ink, and you get to smell that burnt wood sort of thing. But like I said, if you don't have a laser and you still want yourself a really cool cookie, you can check out folkloreimpressions.ca, which is a Canadian company, and you can order yours today, and the proceeds from the sales of those cookies actually come right back to the channel to help support the builds and whatnot going forward. And if you need yourself your very own laser, you can check out the Laser Master 3. The link will be in the description for that guy as well. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty cool. This guy is the chicken. You get it? It's funny. Ha ha ha. It's funny. The chicken. This is actually a PDF document I got from a company out of New Zealand. You type in chicken like this. You can find the PDF document. It's actually kind of cool. They allow it to download for free. So I just downloaded that thing and sent it into the laser cutter machine, and poof, gone. It's printed out. I printed on a piece of ash. It's pretty neat. It's going to be hung up there. But like I said, you guys want to pick yourself up one? The link in the description below. Help support the channel. Let's get on with the build. You don't want to be hanging around in here too long there, Mr. Grasshopper. The predators are coming. The predators. Evil chickens. And then to make it a door latch out of a barrel bolt, I just cut the threads off of it and drilled a hole through the whole thing. So you can just kind of, simple, secured. So if anything gets inside the chicken house, they can't get inside the chicken coop. 2 layers of security. That works for me. What do you think? Yeah? What do you think? Can't even see your head. Well, go explore. There you go. Hey Frankie, what do you think? Yeah. Who's gonna go outside first? All right, we got it all pretty much wrapped up. Let's take you for a little bit of a tour. So, first of all, we start with the outside. This shed slash chicken coop slash chicken run was all made with recycled material or found material or material that was around the property. First, we start off with the front door. This is an old French double French doors. This is one side of the double French doors, and well, as you can see, the outside of this thing is made with actually windfall cedar that it fell down, and then we milled it up on our Norwood sawmill. The tin is reclaimed from an old barn, and it was installed, so there was no cost there. Inside, we have ash that again is reclaimed from the emerald ash borers. Have been taking those trees out, so we reclaim them that way. The inside insulation is old garage door panels, which insulates the roof, and then, well, the inside the walls is not reclaimed. It's actually Roxel insulation that we put inside there. So we did buy some stuff, but we bought one bag of insulation. The rest was actually here. We've got some reclaimed single pane windows that that's been repurposed and rehung, so they both open up. And this guy here, this is our laying box. This was an old truck storage box that was reused as a laying box, so it's a nice place for the chickens to go and lay eggs. We've got some windows up there, which are single pane again. and they open up to allow ventilation during the sun and actually capture heat during the day. During the winter time, the sun comes in and heats this place up, also lights it up. It's got some really nice light coming in there. I actually got those in Maine when I was visiting Zach Fowler over at Zach Fowler's Makery in Mischief. They were actually at Restore in the freeze section. So that's and this is the Coop section here. We got our access to our laying boxes. We got our perch over there. We've got our aluminum pass-through, allows the chickens to get outside. We got some hay, and we've also got some, actually it's not hay, it's straw in there that allows the, we're going to do the deep bed so you don't have to clean it very often. That's the latch is a lag bolt that allows to open and close, and this is an old garage door decorative handle, which actually acts like an actual handle in this case. And yeah, so this is white pine. It was all built up for this. In order to build a coop, it's all made out of 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So all we need left is to find a door handle so we can actually have the door shut. But yeah, we're moving right along. Oh, did I mention this thing is all solar powered? There's going to be, well, there's going to be a heater in here at some point. This is the Renogy Lycon 5000, and it's going to act dual purpose. So one, it's going to actually keep this place warm in the wintertime to prevent my water from freezing on my chickens. It's also going to be a charging station because, as you guys may or may not know, there is the sun doesn't shine in the forest when you have a lot of trees, and that's the one problem with solar is that you need sunshine. So this guy here actually has a lot of solar panels on the roof, which is going to allow me to collect a lot of power and store it in here. And then what I can do for the portable battery packs, because this one is not necessarily portable, but I can plug in portable battery packs, charge them up here, and then I can actually bring them in the forest where it's dark and have power that way. So this is definitely an asset in that regard. So, and I guess I didn't mention about my floor. My floor is reclaimed pallet wood. It's the top portion of a skid, essentially, that parts came in on, and then I stained them a brown color. I could really use my door handle at this point. Maybe I'm stuck in here forever. Maybe. I don't know. I can't get out. Can't get out. Maybe I should have made that a priority, making a doorknob. I'm still stuck in here. Okay, I got it. That was close. All right, so let's check on the outside. Okay, so the chicken run was made out of a reclaimed wire spool and basically some old tin. And we've got our chicken run with our chickens, our happy hens. Happy hens, you guys happy? And we've got our causeway over there that allows the chickens to freely come and go, inside or out, depending on where they fancy. Usually they'll stay here until dark, and then they'll crawl inside and perch on their bars and go to bed. That's their plan. There's our food and our hanging water. Yeah, and then this little chicken run here can pivot to give them fresh grass. So once this grass is exhausted, we move it over there, and then we just move it back. That way they can always have access to fresh grass and then be able to clean out the mess they make. Well guys, this build got a little out of hand. It got a little bigger than I anticipated, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and join me on the next one.